The choice of elected representatives has always been a Herculean task due to difficulties faced with the match between readiness and service. But for the people of Ifako-Ijaye Federal Constituency, the choice of Honorable Akinwunmi in the last 2016 by-election, occasioned by the demise of late Dr. Adewale, has paid off its legislative dividends.
If Dr. Adewale has not died, we allow play. We got. Cover his family. Akinwunmi Olaitan wouldn't have become honorable member of House of Representatives. Dr. Ja did not fail you. Olaitan did not pay you, and I hope you will not elect whoever that will pay you in Ibakoja. Honorable Akinwunmi has been a very rugged, erudite, fantastic lawmaker. I won't spend one year abroad. I think he has performed brilliantly well over some people who have been there the last week.
Yes, thank you.
He has never disappointed you.
Since his emergence in the House of Representatives, the quintessential Honorable Akinwunmi has left no one in doubt of his legislative abilities in the Green Chamber, as he has hit the ground running.
Do solemnly swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So help me God.
I started work in Kokodumeji's. It will be 1 year and 7 months at the end of July. There are 3 basic roles or functions or duties or responsibilities of a legislator. The first one is lawmaking. The second one is oversight functions, and the third one is representation. I want to say without any iota of doubt, and with all humility and all deep sense of deep responsibility, that I have been able to perform in line with the 3 duties.
100%. 100%.
Born and raised in Ibadan, Oyo State, Honorable Akinwunmi attended St. John's Anglican School, Molete, Ibadan, where he obtained the first school leaving certificate in 1972 and had his secondary school education at Ibadan Grammar School, Ibadan, and clinched his West African School certificate in 1981. He studied philosophy at the Obafemi Awolowo University, Osun State, where he graduated with second-class upper in the year 1986, obtaining a Bachelor of Arts in Philosophy. He proceeded for his second degree studies in management at the University of Lagos and obtained a master's degree in industrial relations and personal management in 1996. In a quest for more knowledge, Honorable Akinwunmi found himself studying with members of the Fourth Estate of the Ram and the Nigerian Institute of Journalism with a distinction in postgraduate diploma in public relations and advertising in 2011. Honorable Akinwunmi Nurudeen Olaitan has always been passionate about serving the people. He has had his fair share of experience in grassroots politics, as he was the secretary to the executive chairman of Yaba Local Government Developmental Area of Lagos State from 1999 to 2003. Also the chief press secretary and speechwriter to the executive chairman of Ifako-Ijaye Local Government Area of Lagos State from 2008 to 2011. It is worthy of mention that he coordinated the Sanwo-Olu Foot Soldiers election campaign in Ifako-Ijaye Ojokoro during the 2019 general election.
Power conferred on me, I hereby inaugurate you as the central coordinators, assistant coordinators, and coordinators of Ifako-Ijaye Local Government Foot Soldiers.
People are energetic and they are enthusiastic. They are ready to work to deliver some come February by the grace of God.
into the crannies, to please go into the nooks, to please go into the corners of Ifako and talk to people. One person should mobilize 100 people. One person should mobilize. Ifako used to have one of the highest number of votes, but we don't want to be one of the highest. We want to be highest. Àfẹ́jẹ́ kan lára àwọn tó máa níbò tó pọ̀ jù. Àfẹ́jẹ́ tó máa níbò tó pọ̀ jù ní tó ń bọ̀. Ṣá máa ní.
Who later emerged as governor-elect. Since elected into the House of Representatives in 2016, Honorable Akinwunmi has carved a niche for himself by the way and manner he has carried out his legislative duties.
Speaker, my honorable colleagues, my name is Akinwunmi, Nurudeen, Olaitan, representing the people of Ifako Federal Constituency, the State of Excellence, Lagos State. I want to thank the mover of this beautiful motion. There is no doubt that Nigeria needs more police personnel. There's no doubt about it.
He has found his voice resonating at the floor of the House of Representatives through effective sponsorship and contributions to bills and motions amid other legislative functions and interventions, which when aggregated reflects his commitment to the development of the Nigerian nation. To his credit, he sponsored the bill to amend the Criminal Justice Act, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to provide for the Comptroller General of Prisons to make monthly returns to the Chief Justice of Nigeria and Chief Judges of the states to order the release of persons detained in prisons in circumstances specified in this act and proffer more effective prison decongestion solutions. Also, a bill to provide for the transportation, protection and facilities of employees and other matters connected therewith. He moved motions on urgent need for improved health sector funding throughout the Federation, need to curb the incessant deaths of railway crossings.
Mr. Speaker, we have actually taken this path before. We've witnessed a number of train accidents in this country, and we have talked about them. But after talking about them, nothing has taken place. We have not taken measures that will stem the tide of train accidents. In developed climes, of course, we do hear about train derailments, but we seldom hear of train colliding with vehicles on railway track. And it has been happening in this country, and we need to check it. When it happens, it is very difficult not to have multiple deaths arising from such accidents, considering the weight, the size, and the speed of trains, and the fact that the brake system of trains cannot easily be, used. The consequences of such deaths are many. We've witnessed when deaths occur, generally, a lot of things happen. For instance, you know that we are going to either create widows or widowers, and then the children of people who die, in most cases, run into a lot of troubles. We have seen situations where they withdraw from schools and then become social nuisance and contributing to the problems of this country. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, when I was young, in fact, when I was in the primary school, I used to hear bells being rung when trains were approaching. Some minutes before trains will come, bells will be rung. We will see old men, then very old men. They will raise signs up that will be so visible for people to see, such that you will have noted that trains were coming. Where are these men? Where are the signs? We no more see the signs when trains are coming. You find out that you even get to the track before people will start saying trains are coming. And in those days too, I used to see barriers that would be removed before trains will cross at intersections. Where are the barriers today? I think it has to do with the value we place on lives. These days, we don't value our lives again. And I have highlighted some measures that should be taken to prevent train accidents.
Need to curb the rising number of out-of-school children.
The issue of out-of-school children is a global phenomenon. In other words, it's a worldwide thing. UNESCO Institute for Statistics in 2014 quoted the number of children that are out of school in the world to be well over 50 million children. Out of this, over 2/3 are from the sub-Saharan Africa, from the West Asia, and from South Asia. If such a huge number of children who are supposed to be in school are out of school, you don't need to ask why we have massive incidents of violence in the world, because these kids are their prime, and so they must utilize their energy. The energy that should have been utilized productively will then be utilized elsewhere. If it is frightening that we have over 50 million children in the world out of school, then it is more frightening that Nigeria has the highest number of children that are out of school. And I'm quoting the authority that should know, and that is UNESCO. Nigeria has about 10.5 million children out of school. And that is great, and it is unfortunate. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, out of this figure, 60% are girls, that is, are female. And who are the constituents of this figure, this 10.5 million? We have, they said we have Almajiri children, we have social miscreants, we have children of nomadic pastoralists, we have children living with disability who cannot go to school, we have children who have been displaced recently by insurgency. And then some of the reasons that are given for this huge problem that we have in Nigeria are low perceptions of the value of education for girls, early marriage, the conflict in the Northeast, poor quality of education, and poor funding of education in Nigeria.
Need to ensure compliance with the Pension Reform Act 2014 by all states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory.
This contributory pension scheme is actually meant for payment of retirement benefits of the staff, or if you like, employees on retirement. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, permit me to actually browse through the objectives to ensure that every person receives its retirement benefits as and when due, to assist individuals by ensuring that they save in order to cater for their livelihood during old age, and 3, to establish a uniform set of rules, regulations, and standards for the administration and payments of retirement benefits for the public service of the Federation, the Federal Capital Territory, and the private sector. These objectives are quite noble and worthwhile, but it is a pity that both in the public sector and the private sector, as noble as they are, the objectives are being defeated because there are violations in both sectors. The principle behind the contributory scheme is that there will be certain percentage that will be deducted from the salaries of individual worker. And of course, there will be contributions by employers themselves, and these two will be merged and remitted to the fund administrators. But it is sad to note that there are some states in this country that are deducting the contributions of staff and they are not remitting them. Neither are they also making their own contributions. If they are not making their own contributions, it is one thing. But the contributions made that are deducted from staff salary are not remitted, but used for other purposes. It is very sad, because the joy of every worker is to serve and have the hope of having a very good retirement, rosy retirement. No staff, no person wants to live a life of penury, a life of want, a life of sadness, perpetual sadness after retirement. And so I want to urge the Speaker and my colleagues to please be on the side of the workers by supporting this motion, by ensuring that this scheme is applied by all the states and even the private sector. It will be in the interest of the Nigerian workers if they start remitting the pension deductions to the pension fund administrators.
Urgent call on security agencies to act swiftly on social media threats.
It is important for security agencies to take threats on social media very serious. We have witnessed situations in this country where some people will post on either Facebook or wherever that they were going to commit suicide. And it will be after they have committed the suicide that people will now say, oh, and he actually posted that he was going to do that. It is true that we are faced with an avalanche of information on social media, be it Twitter, be it YouTube, be it WhatsApp, be it any kind of social medium, such that it is very difficult to fathom which one is actually true, which is not true. But that is the job of security agencies. If we ordinary folks cannot do that, it is the job of security agencies to unravel these things, so that it is not at the end of the day that we will start blaming ourselves.
He also co-sponsored motions and need to adequately fund the research institutions for the purpose of growth and development in Nigeria.
Research institutes, if they are well motivated, if they are galvanized, they can really serve to add to the economic development of this country. And of course, the advantages, the benefits of adequate funding of research institutes are many. They are numerous. Some of them have been highlighted by the mover. And I hasten to add that if they are well funded, definitely it will offer a lot of benefits to academic institutions in form of our academic researchers. And of course, it will spawn new products and ideas that can save and improve lives in so many areas, like medicine and of course, agriculture. It will promote continued learning and improve academic excellence, especially in areas of disease control, and improve seedlings for agriculture. And of course, you know that will contribute quite well, to aid development, of various sectors of the Nigerian economy. And of course, it will also improve global orientation, providing an overview of the support and services that are available to all the researchers, so that it can meet up with international standards. I think funding research institutes adequately cannot be overemphasized.
Need to check the menace of fake job advertisers throughout the Federation, and need to address the effect of carbon emission on climate change in Nigeria. As a true representative of the people and one who craves for development, he has attracted several projects to his constituency, projects that have brought about infrastructural development, human development, and capacity building to the delight of his constituents.
Recently, I moved a motion on education on the floor of the House of Representatives titled Curbing the Rise of Out-of-School Children in Nigeria. Incidentally, Honorable Jide Jimoh was a co-sponsor of the motion with me. At the end of the deliberations, the House resolved to ask government to start immediate implementation of free education at primary and secondary school levels in Nigeria. Today, we are handing over a number of desks and tables to 4 primary schools as part of my intervention program towards the provision of conducive learning environments to our pupils. This is in furtherance of my constituency project under the Universal Basic Education Program. The experience which I got from visits to schools during oversight as a member of the House of Reps Committee on Basic Education and Services regarding the pitiable sitting condition in some schools informed this decision. The schools that will benefit from this first phase are 1. African Church Primary School, Idiakon. 2. Ogundemu Primary School, Iju. 3. New Okwaba Primary School, Ojokoro. And Agbado Ijaye Primary School 2, Ojokoro. Let me quickly add that I have nominated another set of 4 schools for the second phase. These are All Saints Primary School, Bishop Oluwole, Community Primary School, Ajuwon. Although there is going to be a slight amendment to what we are going to provide to Community Primary School, Ajuwon, in view of what the superb chairman discussed with me. 3. Ebenezer Primary School, Ojokoro. And 4. Beleji Primary School, Ojokoro. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and of course, very important members of the press. These pieces of furniture are just my humble contribution to complement the fantastic efforts of our able governor, Akinwunmi and Body, the teacher's most friendly governor, because I believe that nothing is too small or too big as far as provision of qualitative and functional education for our pupils is concerned. And let me quickly add that yesterday I learned that some people are saying that schools in the Fakojaye will take more chairs and desks. There is nothing like that. It will be equally distributed. I implore the end users of these desks and tables to take good care of them. Permit me to end this speech with this quotation from Malcolm X. It says, and I quote, "Education is the passport to the future. For tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today." I thank you for listening. Thank you.
If I carry you go banana, my guy, you go love Lagos. If I carry you go to Elegushi, you go love Lagos.
Honorable Busari, you are one, please. Thank you. Honorable the lover of the Fakojaye Federal Constituency, the man of the moment at the National Assembly, to make comment now than our brother who is going to give a message from Honorable Jimoh, member House of Representatives.
Give me an opportunity to say here now that I will do something continuously like education. So today what we're doing is to ameliorate the learning condition of our pupils in 4 primary schools in federal constituencies. We have provided desks and tables for 4 schools. And those schools are specifically African Church, we have Nurudeen Primary School, we have New Okwaba Primary School, and of course we have Agbado Ijaye School 2 that will be beneficiaries of these largesse.
Honorable Akinwunmi Nurudeen Olaitan has demonstrated his love for human development through provisional skill acquisition programs by influencing the admission and support of the 55 constituents in the Lagos State Ministry of Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation Vocational Training Program, donation and distribution of 100 bags of rice to constituents for the New Year celebration. Full and final payment of compensation for the loss suffered as a result of the fire incidents that occurred at Terminal 1 building of the Murtala Muhammad International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos. Rehabilitation of Olowo Ifelagba Community Steel Pedestrian Bridge linking Ogundimu and Olowo communities, and sponsorship of Community Football Fiesta tagged Santana Football Competition, commissioning of Iju Ogundimu Primary Health Care Center, and free JAMB seminar for over 2,000 students in the constituents. The high level of commitment and zeal with which Honorable Akinwunmi has dispatched his legislative duties so far is one that is worthy of emulation. As the saying goes, if you understand something in only one way, then you don't really understand it at all. The secret of what anything means to us depends on how we have connected it to other things we know. Well-connected representation let you turn ideas around in your mind to envision things from many perspectives until you find one that works for you. And that's what we mean by thinking, according to Marvin Minsky. Honorable Akinwunmi Nurudeen Olaitan commands respect among his colleagues as well as reserves the confidence of the House leadership, so much so that his views are always respected on the floor of the House, even as he was nominated in 3 different ad hoc committees, namely Ad hoc Committee to investigate and ascertain the reasons for the undue harassment and intimidation of members of the All Progressives Congress APC from Kano State loyal to Kwankwasia movement in order to avert a breakdown of law and order in the state and investigate other infringements across the country, specifically in the Federal Capital Territory and Rivers State. Ad hoc Committee to investigate the local concessionary tariff given to companies by the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment for sugar importation into the country from 2013 to 2016 as contained in the Backward Integration Policy. Ad hoc Committee to investigate the Dapchi abduction debacle, a responsibility he has carried out with his team. He is Member House Committee on Basic Education, Member House Committee on Agri-Colleges and Institutions, Member House Committee on Police Affairs, Member House Committee on Labor, Employment and Productivity, Member House Committee on HIV, AIDS and Tuberculosis, Member House Committee House Services, and Member House Committee on National Planning. He has bagged several awards such as Worthy Alumnus of Nigerian Institute of Journalism, Lagos 2017, Civic Leadership, Corporate Governance and Philanthropic Gesture, Makoko 2017, Propagation of Christian Muslim Religion and Nation Building, Obawole Onibata Area 2017. Honorable Akinwunmi Nurudeen Olaitan has proven he is a lawmaker with a difference. There is no doubt that the people of Ifako Ijayi Federal Constituency, his party, the All Progressives Congress APC, and the nation at large need more men like Honorable Akinwunmi Nurudeen Olaitan.